RKO the infamous NWO back with another video doing my Stone Cold Steve Austin Blu-ray review, the Stone Cold Steve Austin, the bottom line on the most popular superstar of all time. Blu-ray edition. Had to get the Blu-ray, got the 1, 2, 3 disc right here. Got the insert, oh yes, the guide to know what exactly on this Blu-ray. I believe it's 10.5 hours long and the Blu-ray is 12 hours long. On the back it says 10.5 hours, I believe. And supposedly there's 3 hours extra features, so about 12 to 13 hours for a Blu-ray. So crazy stuff right here. And it's the insert, and we understand that everything on this Blu-ray disc using this insert. Thank you WWE for finally putting these back in. How hard were these to print? What was 5 cents to print? Could have charged me an extra $1 for the Blu-ray. I wouldn't mind because of the insert. Anyways, this is like, if you guys watch a Stone Cold Truth DVD, it's about a 40-minute documentary, and it goes like into like minor detail of all this stuff. This is like that times so much more in depth. It goes into it. Because it doesn't talk about childhood that much. It talks about how we started watching wrestling, then boom, it jumps into getting into wrestling, how we saw the commercials, starting up in the what was it, territories, going to USWA, I believe, and then working in Dallas, and then working WCW, get fired by WCW, getting on the store, working ECW, cutting those promos, getting paid once a week. It's funny because in Stone Cold Truth, he talks about making $40 to be on TV, and surprisingly, they didn't say how. They said he worked in the territories and he was on TV, but he never said how much he made on TV, which was $40 a week, and how he was living and eating raw potatoes. Well, you learned on the Truth DVD, so. But they didn't tell you this on this DVD, this Blu-ray, so which was kind of funny because I figured they would put everything plus more on here. What else? So, talk about WCW not being marketable, getting fired, going to ECW, getting called up to WWE, the Ringmaster thing, him screwing that gimmick, getting the Stone Cold Steve Austin, his new gimmick, going for the IC belt, well, he's IC champion, trying to be going up in the ladder, King of the Ring, cutting the promo, Austin 316, feuding with Vince, being over the top, things getting more edgier since they were going to the Attitude, going to the Attitude Era, since they were getting beat by WCW at the time, so they had to think of something new. Yeah, how big he was, how over he was with the crowd, and people never understood how truly over Austin was, because Austin was Intercontinental Champion at the time, and he was one of the top guys as he wasn't even in the main event picture yet, and he was fighting, it was still in IC battles, and yeah, they talk about him getting pile drive by Owen, what else, and then it goes on to him not wrestling, but him wrestling with a bad neck, but just so he could be that top guy in the WWF at the time. Going in to be one of the top guys, being Shawn Michaels, and naming that he was the guy. They also talk about all the moments leading up to getting the WWF title, like the infamous Stone Cold Stunner in Madison Square Garden, him getting over. Then pretty much his rise in late '99, and then finally he had to get neck surgery, so they did the incident with the car when remember Rikishi, which was hired by Triple H to hit Austin, and Austin was out for a year, and he didn't know that he was going to come back, which was, yeah, going, and then when he was coming back a year after, he didn't know how the fans were going to react to him. And us fans embraced him coming back. His feud in 2001, his heel turn, how he thought at the time it wasn't right for his heel turn, but he thought he was going to test it out. But he still thinks that he should, if he would have done everything at WrestleMania 17, except instead of shaking Mr. McMahon's hand at the end of WrestleMania 17, he would have gave him a stunner, would have been a face, and yeah, so on and so forth. Oh, I forgot to mention they talk about that double heel turn in WrestleMania 13, the Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret Hitman Hart. Probably one of his favorite he said his favorite match of all time. Oh, I forgot. I skipped over the Tyson Austin thing too. How big Tyson Austin was going into WrestleMania 14, and how big it was that Shawn Michaels was like the third wheel in that whole deal, and he was the WWF champion, and Shawn Michaels was the third wheel. And Austin even said if they put Austin versus Tyson at on a pay-per-view, it'd have been like the most selling pay-per-view of all time, which I do agree with. It probably would have got like 2 million buys, Austin versus Tyson on pay-per-view. And to this day, he said no one would probably ever beat that. Then he talks about how the booking, how when he left, he took his ball and went home with the whole putting Lesnar over on a Monday Night Raw in an unannounced qualifying match, and he said that he didn't mind putting anyone over if it's right for business, but at that time it wasn't right for business, and he handled himself unprofessionally. He left, and then 2003 came back, did the whole thing in No Way Out, and then when he was all recuperated at the time, he was feeling good. He was still having problems, and WrestleMania 19 would be his last match against The Rock. Talks about during the match how he felt, what happened before the match, how he was in the hospital, and yeah, that was his last match. And he thought that when he came back and then did the thing with the co-GM thing with Bischoff, he thought that ran his course. Like, it should have been longer. Well, it didn't run its course. It should have been longer than it should have, but it stopped. And what else is he talking about? He talks about appearances coming back, and then he talks about his Hall of Fame. And yes, this documentary, and I'm just like summarizing like the documentary. There's probably a lot more detail, obviously, but this documentary is 2.5 hours. It features everybody you could think of on this DVD. They even have Paul Heyman, Jericho's on this DVD. Like, these are all new interviews. The only not new interviews, which I never understood, was The Rock wasn't on this DVD, which they took the footage from the WrestleMania 19 interview that they did. It's on the WrestleMania 20 DVD if you guys ever watched that, a little extra with the WrestleMania 19 documentary thing. They got the footage from Rock there, which boggles my mind. But yeah, so yeah, that was a documentary, and I gotta say, this is probably the best documentary in wrestling I've ever watched, because this was like Stone Cold shooting pretty much, and they just blocked out all the words that he said that were not 14A. So yeah, and then the matches on here, they got special features. They talk about the autograph. He talks about his hair club thing, how the haircut came from, the rattlesnake gimmick, where that came from, how he's clumsy in the ring sometimes, tangled, how Punk talks about meeting Austin, how the stunner was originated, and how yeah. And oh yeah, by the way, the end of the documentary, they have the epic highlight. It's about 4 minutes, and it's really good. And the Blu-ray exclusive matches that are on the Blu-ray is Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Undertaker versus Triple H for the WWF Championship at No Mercy 99. We got Austin versus Angle on Raw 01, WWF Championship match. Triple Threat WWF Championship match, Austin, Angle, and RVD at No Mercy 01. And then Austin versus Rock at WrestleMania 19. So on disc 2, the matches are, we got Stunning Steve Austin versus Gentleman Chris Adams at USWA. We got Stunning Steve Austin and Ric Flair versus Sting and Steamboat on WCW Saturday Night in '94. King of the Ring final, Austin versus Jake the Snake. Austin versus Bret Hitman Hart with alternated commentary by Stone Cold Steve Austin and Jim Ross from WrestleMania 13. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Rocky Maivia in Your House DX 97. Austin versus Michaels, alternate commentary by Austin and Jim Ross from WrestleMania 14. We got Dude Love versus Austin at Over the Edge 98 for the WWF Championship, a no disqualification match, Fall Count Anywhere match. WWF Championship match, Austin versus Taker at SummerSlam 98. Austin versus Big Show on Raw 99. No disqualified WWF Championship match. Austin versus Rock, WrestleMania 15 and 17. With the 17 have alternate commentary by Jim Ross and Stone Cold Steve Austin. By the way, that's the second disc on the Blu-ray. A lot of these matches, most of you probably own, since they released a lot of this footage, but yeah. And then the third disc is nothing but moments. So one disc full of matches, and the second disc, nothing but Austin's best moments. And it's about 4 hours long, I believe. They have the flair of the old promo, his promos from ECW, which are pretty good. His a Bret Hart promo he did in Your House, Mind Games. He did some Stone Cold on LimeWire. It's like this live TV where people call in, and Austin was on it. It's pretty funny. The Home Invasion with Brian Pillman from Raw. The New Sensation Award, that's from the Slammy Awards from '97. Freedom of Speech Slammy Awards, another Slammy Awards one from '97. Ambulance Attack, I can't remember where that was from. The World's Most Famous Stunner, I believe that's Madison Square Garden. Tyson and Austin, everyone's seen that. Easy Way to Be Hard. Easy Ways or the Hard Way. Oh right, when Austin had to relinquish the belt to Vince. Oh right, if you remember that. Zamboni 316, everyone knows that. Paging Dr. Austin, where Austin beats up Vince in the hospital. McMahon Cement Corvette, that explains itself. Bang 316, where the infamous McMahon 316, I just pissed my pants. Then the infamous beer truck before WrestleMania 15. The Funeral of Stone Cold Steve Austin, that's the one where Rock takes Austin's Smoking Skull belt and has a funeral. I believe that was before Backlash 99. Austin's Revenge at Survivor Series 2000 when Austin comes back and beats up Rikishi. Oh, was it Rikishi beats up or Triple H? I can't remember. I think it was Rikishi. Jim Ross interview with Austin and Rock, that was the SmackDown, and that was before WrestleMania 17. Gift Giving Mood 01. Oh right, the one where Austin gives Vince and Angle those cowboy hats. Classic. Austin McMahon Austin Alliance woes. I think that was the one where I can't remember. It was one of those segments when Austin was injured and he was doing those things with Vince. Those are some good stuff to watch. The old Stone Cold. All right, I think the Alliance Woes was the Austin on the guitar, and the old Stone Cold was the Vince promo when Vince wanted the old Stone Cold back for the Alliance pay-per-view, for the Invasion pay-per-view, and he walked out looking at a Whataburger from 2002. I can't remember what that was. And the highlight reel from Insurrection 2003, and then the Blu-ray special exclusive talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin answers your Twitter questions, about 25-minute interview with Austin answered Twitter questions. The Sport Auditorium, he talks about Sport Auditorium in Dallas. The infamous T-shirt, talks about how his Austin 316 T-shirt is made, and he has a tour of the Broken Skull Ranch, which is pretty long and in depth. You get to see the whole ranch. Then the Blu-ray exclusive moments, a flair for the gold with WCW Saturday Night, the biggest draw in the world from Superstars, the Foundation WWE from Superstars. I can't think of any of these moments. There's just a bunch of moments. Rock has some words for the Austin has some words for the Rock for post Raw, so that's after Raw's off the air, which is some good stuff. You ever watch footage from after Raw? McMahon inducts Austin in the Hall of Fame. That's on the extra features. And Austin salutes Texas at WrestleMania 25. We all seen that. So yes, that is the whole everything on the Austin Blu-ray. Gotta say, this is the best of the best documentary / compilation DVD that WWE has ever put out on a superstar or altogether. Great documentary, great matches, even though a lot of them we own, but just like a disc I could throw in, like, oh, I can watch Austin matches, just throw in the disc and flip through them. And then we got a whole disc, a whole 4-hour long disc of the greatest Stone Cold Steve Austin moments, which people love to see. probably everyone's favorite wrestler of all time. In my top 5, obviously, and probably in most people's top 5, even most people's favorite wrestler. Mine is The Undertaker, but still, Austin is in my top 5 for sure, no doubt about that. So yes, that is the Austin Blu-ray for you, the most most popular superstar of all time. Why do I keep messing up that title? Great Blu-ray. And by the way, if you have this, also go pick up the Stone Cold Truth, because there's like about some things that they leave out of the bottom line that they talk about in the Stone Cold Truth. It was actually kind of funny to watch, because I've watched Stone Cold Truth so many times. So watching this, they talk about stuff like, yeah, I kind of knew that already, but I didn't know the full story. But yeah, that is the Blu-ray review for you. Go buy the Blu-ray, get the exclusives that you get to watch, and that is it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and that is it.